Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a situation that is sending shockwaves across the world. What has just happened with 26 countries aligning together against Russia is not just a diplomatic maneuver, but a demonstration of how coordinated action on a global scale can change the dynamics of power. Russia, which for years projected itself as resilient against sanctions and international pressure, has now been outplayed so decisively that even analysts are calling it one of the most humiliating setbacks in recent memory. The sheer number of countries involved is the first thing that stands out. We're not talking about a handful of allies or symbolic gestures. This is 26 nations acting in unison, pooling their resources, strategies, and influence to target specific vulnerabilities of Russia. That level of unity doesn't come easily, and it shows that Russia's actions have pushed governments far beyond the point of patience. Each country may have had different reasons to join in, but the result is a unified front that Moscow is struggling to counter. One of the most significant areas where Russia has been hit is the economic sphere. For a long time, Russia tried to portray its economy as sanction-proof, relying on energy exports and building up reserves. But when 26 countries move at once, loopholes close, supply chains shrink, and the ability to reroute trade collapses. Russia is finding itself cut off from critical markets and technologies. Industries that were already under stress are now facing shortages, delays, and loss of key partners. This isn't just a temporary inconvenience. It's a long-term blow that will take years to recover from. The military side of the equation is another factor that's impossible to ignore. Russia has been projecting power, but the coordinated support these 26 nations are giving to Ukraine has completely changed the balance. Supplies of advanced weapons, training programs, intelligence sharing, and logistical support have reached levels Russia never anticipated. Moscow underestimated how far these countries were willing to go. What was once a one-sided advantage has turned into a test of endurance, with Ukraine growing stronger while Russia is forced to stretch its capabilities thinner and thinner. Even in the diplomatic space, the setback is glaring. Russia used to rely heavily on dividing its opponents, exploiting differences among Western countries or appealing to nations with neutral stances. But with 26 countries acting together, those old strategies collapse. The Kremlin's attempts to sow discord have backfired, creating a more solid alliance than ever before. It is not just about NATO anymore, but about a much broader coalition determined to send the message that aggression cannot go unanswered. The economic consequences ripple further when you consider energy. Russia's lifeline has always been its oil and gas exports. But with coordinated restrictions, price caps, and new energy partnerships being built, the dependency on Russia is shrinking faster than expected. Countries that once relied heavily on Russian supplies are finding alternatives, investing in renewables, or securing deals with other producers. For Russia, this is devastating, because once those customers are gone, they rarely come back. Losing long-term buyers means losing long-term leverage, and that's exactly what is happening. On the battlefield, Russia's struggles are only compounded by the fact that its adversaries are better equipped and better supported than ever before. Drones, precision-guided systems, and modern defense technologies are flowing into Ukraine from these 26 nations. The effectiveness of these tools is clear in recent operations, where Russian positions have been destroyed with accuracy that would have been impossible just a year ago. The humiliation lies not only in the losses, but in the fact that Russia is being beaten with strategies and equipment it cannot match or counter effectively. Beyond weapons, the intelligence factor is another reason Russia has been so badly outplayed. The coordination among these countries means that satellite imagery, communications intercepts, and battlefield assessments are being shared in real time. That gives Ukraine an edge that Russia cannot replicate. No matter how much Moscow invests in its own systems, it simply cannot compete against the combined resources of 26 nations, pooling information and technology. The diplomatic image of Russia is also crumbling further. While it still has partners like China or Iran, The growing alignment of these 26 countries shows the world where the majority stands. Being isolated on the global stage is not just symbolic. It impacts trade deals, foreign investment, and future partnerships. Every nation now weighs the cost of aligning too closely with Moscow, knowing that the backlash from this powerful coalition could outweigh any benefits. That isolation grows deeper with every joint statement, sanction, and policy these countries enforce together. One of the most striking aspects of this united action is how it has undermined Russia's narrative at home. For years, the Kremlin has told its people that the world is against them, but that Russia remains strong and untouchable. But when the consequences are so visible, factories shutting down, losses mounting in the war, and international pressure intensifying, those claims become harder to believe. Even controlled media struggles to spin the sheer scale of what's happening. When people start feeling the effects directly in their daily lives, propaganda loses its power. The symbolic weight of 26 countries working together cannot be overstated either. It's not just about economics, weapons, or diplomacy, it's about the message it sends. For decades, Russia thrived on the idea that Western unity was fragile, that alliances would crack under pressure, and that countries would eventually put self-interest first. But this moment proves otherwise. Not only has the alliance held, it has expanded in strength, leaving Russia looking weaker than ever. At the same time, these nations are not just reacting, they are planning ahead. They are building long-term strategies to contain Russia's influence, strengthen Ukraine, and prepare for future challenges. Russia may have thought this would be a short conflict, but it is now facing an organized opposition with a vision that stretches years into the future. That long-term thinking is what truly puts Moscow at a disadvantage, because it is forced to fight day by day while its opponents prepare for the bigger picture. The humiliation for Russia is not just in losing ground, but in realizing that its moves have backfired so completely. Instead of dividing the world, it has united it. Instead of weakening NATO, it has strengthened it. Instead of proving its resilience, it has exposed its vulnerabilities. Every step taken by Moscow has only pushed these 26 countries closer together, and the results are clear for everyone to see. When historians look back at this moment, they will likely describe it as a turning point where Russia's ambitions collided with a global resistance too strong to overcome. What began as an attempt to assert dominance has turned into a cautionary tale about overreach and underestimating the resolve of others. These 26 nations didn't just outplay Russia in one area, they did it across the board, leaving the Kremlin struggling to respond. For now, the outcome is a world where Russia faces mounting challenges, both externally and internally, while the coalition against it grows more confident. The lesson here is powerful. No matter how strong a country believes itself to be, it cannot stand alone against the coordinated strength of dozens. And that is why what just happened is not only hard to watch for Russia, but a moment of clarity for the rest of the world.